Roland brand sardines in olive oil. I'm looking forward to this. I don't remember where I found this, but it was recently. It's only $2.89. These are pretty cheap, but I love the package. Nice and colorful. As you know, I like getting things in packages because it reminds me of Christmas or my birthday, which my birthday is right by Christmas, so I never get anything for my birthday. Anyways, I still like things in packages. Let's take a look at where this one is from. It is from product of Morocco. What do we have in here? Sardines, olive oil, salt. Okay, good. Product contains bones. Alrighty. Nutritional facts. Serving 1 can drained. See, they do recommend you drain it. I know some of you folks out there like to slurp that down. I wish I could find a use for the excess oil. I should probably collect this stuff and just put it in a big jar and then use it for deep frying foods. With all the different oils that would mix, you got soy, you got sunflower oil, canola oil, olive oil, which kind of burns off real quick, but any other oils, maybe that's kind of a unique thing to be invented. Deep frying in multi-oils. Well, let's see how well this opens. This is not the resealable kind, you know. When you tear it, it's one and done. A little bit of a disappointment there, but it's small. Slides out. I'll get real picky on this and say it slides out too easy. There's a little slop in there. I like things. I used to make machinery, so I like things that are a precision fit. But it does make music. All right, enough. Let's neatly pack those in. I like things done neatly and in order as well. The angular pull tab. You know, I'm beginning to like this better because it does kind of fit your hand. It's ergonomically correct. I'm seeing no indications on the can of anything that I'm familiar with because there's what does that say? M-A-R-O-C, Maroc. Must be short for Morocco. Always gotta be careful of that first pull because this one is a cutting hazard. This one, if you're not careful, you can cut a chunk off your thumb. Maybe I'm not such a fan of that angular pull tab then after all. This is olive oil. And it is giving me a little bit extra resistance, but not too bad. I don't want to fling droplets all over the dining room here. Taking a bit of a risk here by leaving the oil in. These are the typical big, robust 3 per can that we see in the Mediterranean and around Spain and Portugal. I've got a theory there. I haven't researched it, but it seems like these big fat boys come from the warmer waters. The little minnowy sprats, the slender little fast swimming ones, they seem to come from the icy waters of the north. Probably because they've got to swim around real fast to keep their body temperature up. They're cold-blooded. That can't be. Perhaps they have to just swim around for whatever reason faster and keep themselves slender. none of this makes sense. I'll go back to my original statement. These big fat boys seem to appear more often in the warm tropical waters, whereas the skinny slender ones seem to appear more often in the frigid northern waters. I tend to like the skinny ones over these big fat boys. All right, I'm going to make some logistic changes here. Also, what I notice with these larger varieties, they have a more repugnant smell. The little sprats, they have pretty much no smell at all, other than the oil that they're in. I'm going to remove some of the skeletal remains here, just because I don't think I need that much calcium. Another thing with these big ones is they do seem to be overcooked at times. Maybe because of the size, they feel that the company feels that they have to put them in for extra length just to make sure they get cooked all the way through. I don't know, but they tend to be spongy, rubbery sometimes. Whereas the little sprats, the little smaller ones, they just seem to be the perfect texture always. As you can see, there's a little bit of a remains on the inside of that one. Organ meat is supposed to be really good for you. Not much of a smell. I was expecting more. Let's see how we can get this inside. Yep, as usual, a little bit overcooked on those. I don't know that that's something that we'll ever get over, because it is a canned meat. It's not like fresh. All right, so now I'm kind of scooping up all the end pieces and the skin and the stuff that broke off. Let's see if that gives it any heightened amount of flavor. That knocked it up a level. Yep. So there we learned something. Just the filet meat itself is going to have less flavor. Neither one of these has fishy flavor as far as I'm concerned. But they do have intensity. That right there, yeah. That right there is innards. I was really good in biology class, but we never studied cooked specimens. So I will not be able to identify exactly where that's located. Oh, actually. This one may actually have been prepared for the high school dissection room and got in the wrong can, because there's a few extra entrails in there that normally are removed. If you've ever seen it, it's a pretty interesting machine. I used to build machines, so I'm always interested in the manufacturing aspect of everything. But these things, they obviously go through a rotary knife that slits right down the belly and opens that all up. And then there's some type of I'm working on a little bit of assumption here, but there's some type of a scissor blade that probably comes down, separates the head, and as the body is grasped, it rips it free, and all the entrails are pulled out along with it. It's not 100% effective, so that's why you end up with a couple of high school biology projects here and there. Let me try pork rinds. The most neutral substrate that I've found yet. Doesn't seem to add any flavor. And the benefit is, if you're one who doesn't like the bones, if you eat it in a fried pork rind, guarantee you will never notice the bones. It's pretty crunchy. A little bit tuna-like there. So that tells me that I actually prefer saltine cracker, because saltines will add just a little bit of a flavor, unless you get the really cheap dollar store brands, or maybe it's not even dollar store brands, but there are some cheap brands that are so lacking in any flavor at all. They're just square wafers of compressed dust. But you get the ones that have a little bit of flavor in them, and I don't know what adds that, if it's butter or oil that they're baked with, probably some kind of oil. It steps it up a notch. But I don't like the tuna fishy appeal of just the meat itself, and sardine crackers compensates for that. Did I say sardine crackers? Saltine crackers compensates for that. That's the combination right there. Try this again. Got one of these fat boys left here. By the way, just to show you, man, they are roly-poly. You know, these actually have scales on them. I did not notice that at first. I thought the scales, I thought there were no scales, but it's actually in this one, the scales have become like gelatinous. Another clue that they're probably overcooked. And this one, when they break apart, yeah, it's coming in pieces. These things usually break, these big fat ones usually break apart in a pretty solid chunk. Another clue as to why these are so inexpensive. Perhaps Roland's buys the overcooked stuff, sells at a discount. Not cutting down Roland's by any means. I mean, you get what you pay for, and they're doing a service by offering these things at a lower price. You still get all the benefits of the nutrition. They're pretty darn close to any other comparable sardine. It's just for those who might be the aficionados who can detect the little nuances and discrepancies here and there, and those who, for whatever reason, make videos of themselves eating. Because the fact is, we got to say something. Yeah. Let me see if it makes a difference. Scale side up. You might think that's a stupid thing to say, but aesthetic appeal has a lot to do with the satisfaction of food. I've had some pretty boring food that looked really awesome, that bumped it up on the scale from boring to way better than acceptable. That honestly did make a difference because all the scales are now stuck to the roof of my mouth. All right. Lesson learned there. And the last and only piece, the tail section. Always the last part of the plane to crash. Roland, sardines in olive oil. I won't say they're the greatest on the planet, but for the price, these are pound for pound, right up there with the big boys. If you find them somewhere, buy yourself a can, try it for yourself. Thanks for watching.